Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to AJ101 Criminal Law. My name is Tony Farrar, and I will be your instructor for this semester. First, a little bit about myself. I have over 34 years in law enforcement, retiring in December of 2015 as the Chief of Police for the Rialto Police Department in San Bernardino County, California. My education consists of a master's degree in police administration, a master's degree in business administration, and a master's degree in criminology and police management from the University of Cambridge Institute of Criminology, in all places, yes, Cambridge, England. And we'll talk a little bit more about what it's like to attend college in the UK throughout the semester. It was actually a pretty cool experience. But with that being said, this morning's lecture is going to cover the syllabus review. Now, it's very important to remember that your course check-in consists of two parts. The first part being the discussion board check-in, and the second part, the syllabus quiz. And it's very important that during the first week, or that orientation time or module, and I'll show you what I mean by module in just a little bit, but that first week or orientation module, that you take the time to go through the entire weekly orientation portion. And that really exposes you to a lot of cool information in there that I think will help you be successful throughout this course, along with containing the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. So that week one orientation module has everything in there, and more to come on that. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into our syllabus review this morning. So again, this is AJ101, and we're here at the top of the page if you're following along, and I hope you are. Criminal law, and the section number is 3651. We are, of course, in the fall 2020 semester, and this is, in fact, the online version of the class. Next up would be some of my instructor information. I am located on the Menifee campus. I have here for you my email, my Twitter account information, and I've also posted two different links to some web pages that I think you'll find interesting. The first is to the Criminal Justice Club Facebook. Now, this is a group of students, and they meet either weekly or bi-weekly, and they do a lot of cool things. They have a lot of great discussions. They talk about jobs in the criminal justice field. They get some different types of training. They help each other with their case studies and different things like that. So it's a fun group, and you have a lot of fun. If you'd like to know more, you can go ahead and click on that link. It'll take you to their Facebook page, and you can find out a little bit more. Next would be the Career Ed website, and this is the MSJC Career Ed website. So if you need any more information on career pathways, whether it's for criminal justice or any other type of career, or you need counseling, etc., you can find that information, including internship information, on that CE website. Next up, I have my office hours. Again, I am located typically on the Menifee campus. I am in the 3000 building, room 3003. I have on-campus office hours that you can see posted there, and I also have online class office hours. And for the most part, that's going to be on Wednesday evenings from 6 to 7. Typically, it lasts longer. It's Professor Farrar's meeting room. But again, you can just pop in anytime between 6 and 7, and we can discuss whatever you have on your mind, whether it's questions relating directly to the course, any specific terms, concepts, theories, whatever it is, we'll talk about it, and I'll be there to assist you in any way possible. I'm also available at other times by appointment. Email is the best way to contact me, and it certainly is. Now, if you do email me, please do me a favor, and here we are in the middle of the page now. Please place AJ101 3651 Criminal Law and then your name in the subject line of the email. So I have an example that I did for you. So Farrar, you can just use your last name if you want. AJ101 3651 Criminal Law. And the reason for this is that because I teach several classes, this will really be the best way to make sure that I know exactly who you are and exactly what class you are in, and that way I can get your information back to you in an expedient fashion. Now, if you do email me, please note that all email should come from your MSJC email account. Please don't utilize your personal email. Also, if you are requested to submit a written assignment in Canvas this semester, and guess what? You're going to be, so pay attention. Please submit the assignment in Microsoft Word, because if you send your assignment in a document that's done in any other word processing format like WordPerfect or WordPad, or it's through any other third-party software like Google Docs, there's no guarantee that I'm going to be able to open it or read it. And if I can't open it, I can't read it. If I can't read it, I can't grade it. So you can see how that would really help me out. If you have any other issues regarding that, please let me know and we'll find a workaround that'll work for you. Also, and finally, if you do not know how to set up your email, or you have any type of other electronic or techie question, you can email me and I will do my best, or you can contact the college help desk for assistance, and chances are they will probably do a better job than I can, but I will do my best to help you. So with that being said, understand, and here we are at the bottom of the page, that this syllabus is in fact a living document, and it is subject to change during the semester. And if I do make a change, and typically I don't like to, and for the most part I don't, but sometimes there is a need. But if I do make a change, you will be made aware of the change as it occurs in the form of an email or an announcement via Canvas, which is another reason to have whatever electronic device you typically look at the most, have that set up to where you can receive notifications in a timely fashion. But again, if you have any questions about the course or anything else at all, please email me, or you can post your question in the general discussion board question, and I'll show you where that is later, and it's titled The Donut Shop. Yeah, go figure. And I will be happy to answer your question, or maybe even another student might pop on and answer the question as well. So you have a couple of different avenues in which to get your question answered. So what is this class? Well, let's look at the course description. So this course covers the historical development, philosophy of law, and constitutional provisions, definitions, classification of crime, and the application of all of that to the system of administration of justice. And that's really a lot that we covered. And we're also going to there's going to be some legal research, some case law study, some methodology and concepts of laws as a social force. All of that's going to be incorporated. So there's going to be a lot of information that's going to be coming your way. Next up, I have the course, or the program, the program learning outcomes. So these are the learning outcomes that we have identified for the Administration of Justice and Corrections program. Next, you will find the actual course learning outcomes. And then finally, you will see here the course learning objectives. And I'm not going to go through each one of these individually. I will let you look at them at your leisure, because I want to move on to the textbook. So here's the textbook that we're going to be using. The title is Criminal Law Today. It's the 6th edition. It is a Pearson published book, and it's a great book. And here's my pitch for the book. I do have a lot of students that ask me, hey, professor, do I really need the textbook? You know, I'm pretty smart. I think I can do without a textbook. Well, again, here's a couple of reasons why you need the book. The first reason is that there's a lot of legal definitions when you're talking about a criminal law class. There's all these key terms and legal phrases. And so having the textbook will help you in learning those different phrases and key terms, etc. In addition to that, there's a lot of content that needs to be covered in each one of these chapters. And I try to keep just like I keep my classroom lectures to about 60 minutes, I try to keep my video lectures to about 45 to 60 minutes. Sometimes the chapter has so much content, I actually break it up into 2 different video lectures, and you might see that in this particular course. But I really can't cover all of the content. So having the book allows you to kind of fill in the blanks, and it helps you add some context to the things that we're talking about. So hopefully I've convinced you to go out and get the book. And now it doesn't matter if you have the hard copy or the e-version or the paperback or what have you, but I really would advocate that you would have the textbook. Next up would be the California Penal Code. Now, this is important, especially because we're talking about criminal law. Now, the Penal Code is not a primary textbook, but we are going to be referring to this book from time to time. So if you don't have if you do have a copy, that's great. If you don't have a copy, then that's okay. And every state has their own code, their own penal code, the laws. So California has the California Penal Code, Texas has the Texas Penal Code, etc. And these penal codes contain not only just the code number or section, but the elements to certain that kind of identify the crime, and then also the penalties. So it's important, and we're going to use this book quite often. But you can access all of this information online. So I have a link to a website called legalinfo.gov, and you can see it there. And you can find whatever California code you're looking for. So you don't need to go out and buy yourself a penal code. But again, if you have one, hey, that's great. And if you don't, it's not a big deal. Next would be the course check-in. And we briefly talked about it, but this is really important because you're going to see here a little bit on how the class is structured. So this course is going to open on Monday, August 17th, 2020 at 8 a.m. Please make sure that you check in, first of all, using the discussion board as your official check-in for the class. But then don't forget, as part of the check-in procedure, you need to complete the syllabus quiz. It's a very short 10-question quiz. You're basically going to have until Sunday, August 23rd at 11 p.m., that's almost a week, to complete this process. And part of that process, this initial process, is going to be going through the entire orientation module, the week 1 module. And at the conclusion of this video lecture, I will go into the actual Canvas shell and I'll show it to you so you can see it and understand kind of what I'm talking about. So again, failing though, or failure to complete the check-in process is going to result in you being dropped from the class. So it's important that you complete both parts of that check-in process. A little bit on the course guidelines. This is a somewhat fast-moving class with a lot of reading and more so a lot of information that's going to be provided to you weekly. So because of that, you really need to focus on keeping up with the reading. Don't just rely on the PowerPoint lectures to get you through the class. Some of the legal terms that you're going to run across might be difficult at first because you don't know them for you to understand. Therefore, you're going to need to read the textbook chapter to carefully or fully read that chapter fully to really understand those key terms. And that will help you add context to the subject matter. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, in some cases, you might even have to look up a word or a term on the internet, which a lot of you use, I know. The Penal Code, there's that book, or even in a law dictionary. But at the end of the day, if you have a problem with any concept, please let me know and I will discuss it in Canvas in the general discussion area, or I'll send out some kind of announcement blast to everybody, because chances are if you have a question, somebody else has the same question. So at the end of the day, this is not a super easy class, and it's going to require a lot of work on your part in order to do well. However, this class is going to be very, very rewarding from all of the knowledge that you're going to gain about criminal law. And it's actually one of my favorite courses to teach. So with that being said, let's move on to the expectations. So what what are the expectations for this class? Well, we know that students are going to participate in a variety of activities that we hope will achieve the objectives, all those numbered things that I passed earlier that I hopefully you went back and you read. So here's what you need to do, and we're going to walk through each one of these individually. The first thing is going to be reading the required materials. So that means, I know, reading the textbook chapters, reading the lecture notes, and any other articles or things that are posted. Number 2, viewing the weekly videos relating to each chapter. That would be the chapter audio lectures or the unit introduction videos or even the discussion videos. Number 3, participating in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. And we'll talk more about the discussion board in a few minutes. Number 4, completing the course matching exercise assessment. Remember I said every module, this is a non-graded exercise that focuses on the definitions or the key terms. And when you go into the exercise on the left, you'll see the words, and on the right, or the actual term, and on the right will be the definition. And your goal is to match them up, and that will help you learn those definitions. And you can take that as many times as you want. Number 5, completing the online and timed quizzes. Number 6, completing the online and timed exams. Number 7, completing the case study assignment. And finally, number 8, completing the midterm writing assignment. So with all of that, please note, and here we are in about the middle of the page, failure to participate in the discussion boards or missing quizzes or exams or failing to turn in any other assignments or even missing a combination of these activities may cause you to be dropped from the class. So please set time aside during the week to where you can get your class assignments completed. Synchronous meetings. So during the semester, we will have several opportunities to meet online via Zoom. And these meetings will be announced well in advance and will be held to provide opportunities for everyone to talk about things or exchange information or ask questions about concepts or theories or definitions or anything that you don't understand, or even cover major topics. But again, it's a chance for all of us to come together to discuss things. So how do you know then that you are ready for an online class? Now, for some of you, it's pretty easy because you've taken online classes before. Maybe you've taken one of my online classes before, and you know how things work, you know how the structure is, you know how the grading is, you know how things go. But what if you haven't had an online class before? How do you know that you're ready? Well, you've already read, we just went through the course expectations, but you really do need to make sure that you understand what is expected of an online student. So I have 2 links in the syllabus that I think will be very helpful. The first one is a link to the MSJC online learning page where there is quite a bit of information that will help you assess your readiness for online learning and taking an online class. There'll be some instructional pamphlets and some tutorials, etc. And the next link is to the same page, but it also has links to video tutorials that kind of walk you through some of that similar information to help you learn maybe how to navigate through Canvas and how to get into your Canvas shell and different things like that. So hopefully those 2 things will help you assess your online readiness. And of course, if you have any questions, problems, or issues, please let me know. So along with that, I wanted to spend just a minute or 2 talking about technology and responsibility. So you are responsible for your computer equipment and internet connection independent of the campus. So what that means is that you need to plan your coursework should some type of computer related issue occur or some other problem. You need to have a backup plan. Now, if the school's website and Canvas goes down, okay, that's on our end, and there'll be extra time, and we'll fix everything. So don't panic with that. But I need you to make sure that you have a backup plan for yourself, that you're able to complete your coursework in a timely manner should some type of complication occur, or at the very least get a hold of me so I'm aware of what's taking place. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. So it's the backup plan is all I'm asking that you have, okay? And one thing I'll add into that area is please, maybe one more, please, don't wait until the last minute to do your assignments. The way the course is going to run, and you'll see it momentarily, it's basically in weekly modules. So you have a week, for the most part, 6 days to a week to get everything done. But don't wait until the last second. Okay, enough of that. So I wanted to give you a little bit more information to help you out in talking about some of those areas, some of those functions of Canvas that are really, really important that I think you need to pay attention to. The first thing is that, honestly, for you to be successful, you really need to check your Canvas several times, minimum 2 times per week, but several times during the week to make sure that you are well informed about any changes. Okay, but we're going to talk now about some areas to specifically focus on. The first one would be the modules, and this is going to kind of tell you about how the course is laid out. So this is where your weekly assignments are going to be located. And I'm going to title each module, so you're going to know exactly which week the information is for. So example, Module 1 might be titled Week 1. That's easy to follow. And then Week 1 is going to contain all of the stuff that you need to complete in Week 1. Does that make sense? So in Week 1, there'll be the audio lectures, the PowerPoint, the links to videos, the articles, the exams, the quizzes, and anything else I want you to read, review, or learn is going to be in the Week 1 module. And the goal for putting everything like that is for you to be able to find everything for each week in one place in that weekly module. That way you're not clicking in and out of the module all the time. Everything is there for you. And I'll show you a really cool way you can just kind of click on an arrow and you can walk through the module, and it makes it really easy for you to follow. Okay, next would be discussions. This is where our group discussions on the discussion board are going to occur on various topics. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I will have a general discussion board for general questions as well. It's titled The Donut Shop. Yeah, I know. And yes, I do like donuts, and I'll explain why later. In those, or in that general area, or even in the regular discussion areas, I just want you to know that I might post links to videos or articles or other types of things that I want you to be aware of or review or read. And they will also be located in the content area, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. Next up would be announcements. And this is where you're going to find the announcements for the class, including any relevant information on changes to things like exams or quizzes or upcoming information I need you to know about. So maybe there's something really cool that we want to discuss, or an article that I want you to read, or there's going to be a career fair at a certain place, or there's some job openings here, or whatever it is. I will send it out in an announcement. So again, this is another good argument to make sure that you have your electronic device set up to receive those announcements in a timely fashion. And then certainly an important area to monitor would be the grade book. And this is the area where you can monitor your grades as they are posted. Now your quizzes and your chapter exams, those are graded through the computer, so they'll pop in there and populate right away. The case study, the extra credit, and your midterm paper, those are things that you upload and I grade them and then I enter the grade. So you may need to give me a day or two to get through that, to get your grades posted. But you can log in and you can look and see where you're at. And I would highly recommend that you monitor your grades to make sure that you're turning in your assignments. Now, if you go into a certain area and you see either a 0 or a little line in there, that means that the assignment hasn't been done or it was not completed, and that's why there's a 0 in there. So again, make sure that you set time aside to complete your assignments and check your grade book. If you see something that maybe has a line or a 0 and you're really sure that you completed the assignment, send me an email and I will be able to figure out whether or not the assignment was in fact uploaded or what have you. But we'll take care of it and I'll do everything that I can to help you with that. And then finally, extra credit. This is the area where you can find the extra credit assignment. And this is also in Canvas, but it's here in the syllabus as well. And one point of reference is just take note that the extra credit assignment, sometimes it's date specific, meaning that it opens for this on this day and it closes on this particular day. So just take note of the time frame so you don't miss the window to turn in your extra credit. And I know a lot of you are like, man, extra credit, no, I don't have to do that. I would highly recommend that you do extra credit in the event that there is something that happens and you can't maybe get an assignment done or you miss something or whatever. It's always good to have a little bit of a buffer, if you will. All right, so how are we going to learn all that? We've covered a lot of stuff. So how are we going to deliver this class and how are you going to learn all of that stuff? Well, we're going to do it through the video lectures, the news articles, the visual aids, the other videos, the PowerPoints, the class participation and discussions through Zoom, the discussion boards, the written assignments, your quizzes, your exams, your case study, all that stuff. That's going to help us reach our instructional or our goals at the end of the semester. Also, you're always welcome to attend any of the in-class presentations from any guest speakers that I have on campus in my face-to-face courses. And if that happens, I will definitely let you know in advance of whatever date and time. A lot of times I might have an attorney come in and talk, or even a judge, or it might be a canine officer or a gang officer or a forensic person or a homicide detective. All those different things, and again, you are more than welcome to attend to listen to what they have to say and learn as much as you can. So again, I'll give you plenty of notice should that take place. So if you need some help, a couple of areas, academic support. This is available to all students at the Learning Resource Center on either the Menifee or San Jacinto campus or through the help desk. There is also academic support online. And you'll find some of those links in the orientation process, in that orientation module. And there's also counseling online as well. So you have those resources there. Last couple of semesters, we were fortunate to have a AJ tutor who was assisting with not only helping students with research, but formatting their papers, and helping them do some research and with their midterm essays, etc. We hope to have another tutor this semester. I don't have the individual's name yet, but once I get that, I will send it out and make sure that you have access to that person should you need the assistance. And yes, they will be available online as well. So again, please check Canvas and your email at least twice a week for announcements, any changes to PowerPoints, assignments, syllabus, etc. Finally, it is your responsibility to monitor Canvas for all of these assignment changes. Okay, so just quickly, because we are an online class, it's important that we talk a little bit about conduct. So the Student Code of Conduct is available in the MSJC catalog, and I encourage everyone to read it. Now, if you don't have the catalog, you can look at one in the library, the enrollment office, or you can find it online. My big thing for this particular semester and this online course is just to understand that we are all different. Thank goodness. And because we're different, we're all going to have some different opinions. And part of online discussions and things like that are to get us to learn from different people, hear different perspectives, and kind of see different ways to do things, or however you want to put that. But what I'm asking for is that we all be professional, and understand again that we all have our own opinions about things. We all want to be able and be comfortable to share our opinions and to talk about things and to maybe even change our minds. Imagine that. On certain things. So we'll have a lot of fun with that, but I just would ask that you be professional, both in our communication on Zoom, during our Zoom meetings, when those occur, and then, of course, on our discussion boards. If you want to know a little bit more, there's a very interesting book called Netiquette. So there's an author by the name of Virginia Shea, and she talks about netiquette, or the etiquette of cyberspace, kind of like rules for behaving properly. And I know there's rules for maybe, and I'm sorry, I'm not young enough to know this, but I'm sure there's certain rules or things that you do on social media that are okay and things that aren't okay. Well, it's the same thing with online when we're talking about, etiquette of cyberspace or online etiquette. So Virginia Shea has defined these issues and discussed them in her book called Netiquette. I have a link to a brief summary of her core rules. And of course, those core rules aren't going to answer all of your particular netiquette questions, but they will provide you with some principles to use in solving any type of dilemmas regarding online communication, etc. A couple of other websites that I have included in the syllabus that I think are helpful. These two websites can help you look up cases, because we're going to be talking about case laws, and those big cases. And you'll learn these, like Mapp versus Ohio, or Miranda versus Arizona, or Terry versus Ohio. These are U.S. Supreme Court precedent cases. And what I mean by precedent, you'll hear the term stare decisis. And we're going to learn these law terms. They might sound foreign to you now, but we're going to learn them. But anyway, there's a link to Cornell Law and SupremeCourt.gov, which will help you with a little bit of your research. Okay, so now the fun part, at least for me, maybe not as much for you, but for me. Let's talk about the exams and quizzes. Okay, so the quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook, the lectures, the PowerPoints, the audio lectures, or any designated article or video. So each week, at minimum, you're going to have, I know, a reading assignment, I know, but it's important, a video lecture. You'll have access to the PowerPoint, a 10-question quiz covering the chapter, and a discussion question on a topic that corresponds with the chapter. So that's typically what a week kind of looks like. And I'll show you how the module actually looks. Now, overall, throughout the whole semester, in addition to that, there's going to be 3 chapter exams, a midterm paper, and a case study. And then don't forget, in each weekly module, there's going to be that matching exercise that covers the chapter key terms. Remember, it's not graded, but it's going to help you learn the key terms, and you can take that key term exercise as many times as you want. All right, so I said earlier that we were going to define and talk about discussion boards a little bit in more detail. So here we go. So discussion boards are typically what I like to call reflective in nature. Therefore, they are meant to make you think about a certain topic or subject, and perhaps research it, and to consider other perspectives, and then to provide a response. So you're going to have a total of 16 discussion boards. There's going to be 1 check-in discussion board. Remember, that's still a discussion board. And then 15 discussion questions that correspond with the chapters. So 16 total. And each discussion board is worth up to 10 points. Now, when responding to discussion boards, make sure you read the information that's in the instructional area, or watch the corresponding video or read the corresponding article, etc. And then respond with what I like to call a complete, well thought out response. If you want the full 10-point credit for your response, it must be at least 5 sentences. And I'm going to hold the line this semester on that. I'm looking for the 5 sentences. Don't simply copy a response from another student's post. The more focused and thought out your response, the more points you're going to get. And certainly don't just respond with I agree or similar. Tell me what you think about it. Now, with that said, feel free to respond or comment on any other student's post, because this is how we get the discussion going. And on these responses, you can start off with I agree and here's why, or I don't agree, blah, 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 because that's the response to a post. But remember, your initial post, in order to get full credit, it needs to have the 5-sentence length. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm kind of hoping it does. I don't want to beat that up. Okay, so we're not going to go through each one of these, but this is located in Canvas. This is your case study. And the good thing to help you with is I basically have given you the questions that I want you to answer. So hopefully that will help you. And this case study is on thought crimes. It's actually a really cool case. And here's some of the directions, but this is also in your Canvas. And here is your extra credit assignment. It gives you a little background information. And it also gives you the way that you can complete this particular assignment. One neat thing I did for this one is for your extra credit assignment, it can be written, a PowerPoint, or a video presentation. So you have options. So you can be kind of creative, etc. All right, so just to kind of summarize everything and to bring it all home as far as the format of the class goes. All lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussion information, and any other assignment is going to be in that module and available weekly, opening on Monday at 8 a.m. All assignments then are due by the following Sunday at 11 p.m. So here's an example. And I already see an error in here, so I apologize, but I'm just going to kind of go past it. So as an example, this course is going to open on Monday. It's going to be August 17th at 8 a.m. And then you will have until Sunday, August 23rd at 11 p.m. to complete everything in that week 1 module. So again, I apologize for the typo. I will fix it, but hey, it is what it is. So, and part of the importance of this is this also includes not just, remember, it includes the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz, but it also includes going through the orientation module. So week 1 is the orientation module, the check-in, the syllabus quiz, but you have 6 days to do it. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Now, as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments. And the reason for that is because you have 6 days to complete each of the weekly assignments. Therefore, it really is up to you to get the work done. Emergencies will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, things like jury duty, military deployment, verified medical emergencies, etc. But please keep in mind that it is your responsibility to make time for completing the assignments. Don't wait until the last minute. Please, please, please. Again, while I will do my best to remind you of due dates and I'll send out information weekly, maybe even to the point of annoyance, letting you know that stuff is due, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to plan your work accordingly and keep track of those dates. All right, so some helpful hints. So there are basically a couple of reasons that I see with students that experience problems in online learning. First is the inability to keep track of due dates. You really need to be able to self-pace and regulate, meaning keeping close track of assignment due dates and not waiting until the last minute to do the assignments. And second, the thought that because there are so many, there's a lot of quizzes and a lot of discussion boards, so if I miss one, it's really no biggie, it doesn't matter. Well, the reality is it really does matter, because missing assignments tend to add up really quick. And before you know it, you're behind. And I'd actually like to throw in a number 3 if I could. The third thing is making sure that you set up your electronic devices to be able to receive either announcements, emails, text messages, however you want to set it up. But make sure that you are receiving those notifications if in fact something is sent out or any changes are made to the course. Now, one quick note just for you to keep in mind, on the weeks that you have your chapter exam, because remember we said there's 3 of them scattered throughout the entire semester, you're still going to be required to do the other work, specifically the short quiz. And the reason there's a quiz every week is to make sure that you've been exposed to each chapter. So a little helpful hint, do the quiz before you do the chapter exam. So if it is one of those weeks that has a quiz and a chapter exam, do the quiz first, so that way you've gained the knowledge from the quiz, and that will definitely help you as it relates to the chapter exam. All right, so here's the grading scale, and I grade by points. I gave you the percentage kind of look here, but this is the more important part right here. So here are the 3 chapter exams, okay, and they're listed right here. You have your discussion boards, your weekly discussion boards. You have your check-in. You have your syllabus quiz, your midterm paper, your case study, your chapter quizzes. So your total possible points. Now, I also want you to know that the point total is subject to change, as I might add or remove an assignment, a quiz, or a test, or I might increase or decrease the number of questions asked, etc. I typically don't like to do that, but every once in a while I might make a change. Also, your final exam is not cumulative, which means that it only covers the chapters that we previously just went over. So a prime example would be chapter exam 1 is going to cover chapters 1 through 5. And that's it. You won't be asked questions on chapters 1 through 5 for this exam or this exam. It's just going to be the 4 or 5 previous chapters. Does that make sense? So when you take your final, you're not going to see anything from chapter 1 or chapter 2. And the reason for that is to keep you focused on the information that we just covered, which I think it makes you learn a little bit better. All right. So I have some important dates listed here. I'm going to kind of go through that. Again, if you need any assistance from me in any way possible, please let me know and I will assist you. My job is to make you successful in this course. So if I can help you in any way, please let me know. Next up is the written assignment. So here's your midterm paper. And again, this is all in Canvas and I'll show you where it is. Here are the questions that I'd like you to answer. And here are basically the directions for the assignment. Talking quickly about plagiarism, and then we'll get into what the schedule looks like and we'll actually look at the Canvas shell. Copying even a part of a sentence from a text, article, or a news story in a paper without acknowledging the source or using quotes is plagiarism. Copying and changing just a word or two is plagiarism. If you need additional information, you can find it at that website, plagiarism.com. The best rule of thumb that I've kind of come up with, if you didn't think of it yourself or it's not common knowledge, cite it. If in doubt, cite it anyway. And then I have some additional information for you to take note of. All right, so now we're down to the course outline, and I want to give you kind of a visual on what the weekly modules look like. So here is week 1. It opens on the 17th at 8 a.m., remember. It'll close on the following Sunday. So this is a Monday. This is a Sunday, the 23rd at 11 p.m. And during this week 1, we're going to do the orientation. You're going to take the You're going to do the review, which is the video we're watching now. You're going to do the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. That's your first week, going through the entire course orientation. Week 2 is going to cover Unit 1, which is Chapter 1, and you can see how these match up. It opens on Monday, closes on Sunday. We're going to talk about the nature and history of criminal law. In this module will be the PowerPoint audio lecture and all the other information. You have access to the matching exercise, and you have a quiz and a discussion question. Week 3, so you'll see how things look the same. Now let's add another assignment in. Week 6, we're covering Unit 5, which is Chapter 5. Chapter 5, you can see here, it opens on the 21st, it closes on the 27th. We're going to talk about justifications and defenses. You have the audio lecture, the PowerPoint, all of the other information, the matching exercise. You have your weekly quiz. You have your weekly discussion that goes with the Chapter 5. But you can see here you have your first chapter exam covering chapters 1 through 5. Do the quiz first. Does that make sense? All right, and you can see that it almost looks similar. Same thing, week 11, you'll see you have your second chapter exam. And then as you kind of go down through here, you can look and you can see, when your midterm writing assignment is due. In week 12, you can see when your case study is due. So that's kind of how it looks. Now I want to shift. I want to take a moment and I want to show you what the actual shell looks like. Now this is from my view, so you're not going to see quite as much. And I'm going to scoot over. It's going to cut off a little bit of the page. But on the left, you'll see the navigation bar with the links. And you won't have as many as I do, but that's okay. But you should, when you log in, you should be seeing the home page. And it'll have information about the class, the description, a quick video. It'll have all the course learning outcomes, my information, a cool picture of me in Cambridge, and then a little video tutorial on Canvas to kind of help you navigate a little bit. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click the start here, and that'll kind of start to move you into the course. But I want to jump to modules. So when you click on modules, again, I probably have more links on my navigation bar. This is the home page module. So if you look at everything in a module view, this is the week 1 introduction module. So it's got all of this information that you're going to go through. And as you're going through it, you'll see the syllabus, you'll see the check-in, the discussion board, you'll see the syllabus quiz, and then you'll finish up. So everything is in there. I also have some information on how to access Zoom. I have information on the Criminal Justice Club, some really cool websites, the Bill of Rights, the court systems. I have a separate module for your midterm writing assignment, including a video lecture on how to format your paper, how to upload your paper. And I even have the PowerPoint slides. So if you don't want to hear my voice on the lecture, you can just look at the slides. I have a separate module for the case study and extra credit. But I want to go down to the week 2 again. And we're going to walk through this. So you can see week 2, what it consists of. And every chapter looks the same, pretty much. You have a week 1 overview, an introduction, just the PowerPoint, a video lecture, the matching exercise, the quiz, discussion, and summary. And when you click on it, you're going to see it in there. Now I know it's kind of cut it off a little bit. I'll move the screen back over just a little. But you can see it'll look like this. You'll see the unit overview, and then you'll see a next button kind of down at the bottom. You can click on that, and it'll take you to the introduction. And here is a brief introduction with a little video that I'd like you to watch on the Code of Hammurabi. It's pretty cool. I'm sorry. It's kind of exciting. Then we're going to go to the next thing, and here is just the PowerPoint. So if you don't want to hear my voice, you can just click on the PowerPoint at your leisure and go through that. Next, we'll have the video lecture, which is kind of like what I'm doing right now. So you can click here and you can hear my voice as I walk through, just like I would present in a classroom. When you're done with the video lecture, you would click at the bottom there, and here's the assessment, the matching exercise. Then you go one more and you click there. Here's the chapter quiz. See how you can just walk through these? Makes it pretty easy. And then you can go here to the discussion board. Now I know this is kind of cut off a little bit, but it gives you a little bit of an intro, the instructions, and there you go. And then when you're all done, you click on next and it'll take you to the unit summary, which says you made it. So you know you've gone through everything. So if you're looking for the discussion board, you can click on discussions, or you can use the link on the front and you can click on the donut shop. And again, this is where you can post your general questions, etc. So hopefully that at least kind of gave you a little bit of intro into what the course modules look like. So I really hope that it does, or I'm just going to leave it like this. So with that being said, that's going to conclude our syllabus review for AJ101 Criminal Law. I'm sure I will be talking to you, or we will be meeting up sometime during week 1, or at least I will be sending out information, a little bit more information during week 1. But until we speak or I send out some more information, again, that will conclude our syllabus review for AJ101 Criminal Law Online.